what will the typical user session be for this game? Well, you'll log in like every other game, choose your server, all pretty standard stuff. You'll go into our character creator. We want the character creator to be very robust. We want you to have a lot of choices. As I talked about when it comes to stats, you will be able to spend a fair amount of time min-maxing, hopefully making some physical changes as well to your character. However, one thing I must say here, we are not looking to put every semi-useless slider you can think about in this game. Andrew has talked about this a number of times. I've talked about it. FPS is the key. And if that means we have to give up some sliders that maybe some people want, guess what? We'll do it. FPS is key. On the other hand, we do want to give you a lot of options. Continuing on that one. What else about your user session? Okay, so you go into the game. Let's assume this is your first day. Come into the city. You will be pointed, of course, in a direction. Not with, giant arrow pointing you, but you'll be told that you need to find someone, depending, of course, on which realm. You'll then be given the option to have a very short tutorial, because frankly, hopefully there'll be enough things in this game that will be a bit different, original to people, that a little bit of tutorial for your first character is probably not such a bad idea. Once that's done, it's up to you. If you want to immediately go out into RVR and to open RVR, you can. And in terms of what's open RVR, I'll talk about that in another question. Class diversity. Okay, now that's another really good question, very important question. Do we want to have characters with multiple spec lines, lots of different specs, or are we going to just keep adding new classes? Honestly, not 100% sure yet. And the reason why is, obviously there are multiple ways you can go. You can put in a character creation system and a class and progression system, which has tons of different lines to go down. That's been done a lot. The other way to possibly do this is to add more classes, so that if you want a healer, if you want a tank whose DPS, you choose this class. If you want a tank that's going to do much better in soaking up damage, you go with this class. That's something we're going to talk about with our backers. I have my own preferences, but I want to hear what people have to say. Either way, it's going to work out the same for players. We need diversity, obviously. We need to give people options. Once again, obviously, choices matter. Whether we do those choices by having different trees, different specs within a class, or by having multiple classes, doesn't really matter. We can do either one, even though we've said we'll only have 5 major classes at launch. Again, major classes. If we decide to say, okay, here's another class that's a tank, but instead it is more DPS geared, we can do that as well. Why capture and hold something? Huge RVR issue. Obviously, this is why you play the game. So many things to talk about. I'll talk about just a couple. Why do you want to hold something? Here's where we get a little bit tricky. So you see games, any game, most games, 100% probably, where the terrain of the game is predetermined. The game's, gonna look a certain way. And it's gonna look a certain way whether you go to that place the first time or the 100th time. And yes, you can do some things with, oh look, it's fall, the leaves are coming down, and here's some snow. What we're thinking about, and actually Andrew's already been working on, is having the terrain change based on which realm holds the area. That is friggin' cool. So that when you TDDs have just overrun a Viking stronghold and you control a lot of land, the influence of your realm will spread through the terrain there and change it. Not so bad. Besides that, there'll be other advantages. I've talked about the stabilizers. Stabilizers play an important role in terrain changing. Taking a stronghold, pretty cool. Very important. Taking one that has a stabilizer in it, that's going to increase the power and the effect of your realm. Now, just so people don't worry, like, oh my God, is that going to also give you some kind of buff? So the side that has the numerical advantage will also now get another buff? No, it's not going to work that way. That would be, stupid. Because that would increase the likelihood of the race. The realm. This is going to be a long day. I better slow it down. That has a numerical advantage. What it will be is very cosmetic. It will look cool, and you guys will see some of the benefits of winning. Other things, if you take over mines, you get to control the mines. And that has obviously a dual benefit, because first, you get to mine the resources. You get to send your crafters in and exploit them. And on the other hand, you've also dealt a blow to the other side. So those are a few of the things. More is coming, more questions are coming, and more on RVR is coming. Be back soon.